During the transformative era of the 1960s, amidst fervent calls for education reforms, Sesame Street emerged as groundbreaking television programming that redefined the landscape of children's media. Conceived during a period marked by heightened awareness of educational disparities, especially amongst Black children, Sesame Street was born out of the visionary effort to leverage television as a tool for educational equity. So join us today while we talk about the Black history of Sesame Street. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. The inception of Sesame Street was deeply intertwined with social political climates at the time, particularly Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society initiatives, which aimed to tackle the extremely difficult issues such as poverty, inequality, and educational access. At the heart of this pioneering venture was Joan Gatz Cooney, a television producer dedicated to social justice and educational equity. Cooney had exposure to educational disparities affecting underserved communities, most notably through her work on a documentary about Harlem preschool program. This fueled her determination to attempt to affect change. She collaborated with Lloyd Morissette. Cooney envisioned a television program that combined entertainment with education, designed to captivate young minds deprived of quality schooling, and partnered with influential entities like Carnegie Corporation and Ford Foundation. The Children's Television Workshop, now Sesame Workshop, was formed as an ambitious project brought to life. The endeavor united educators, researchers, creative talents with a singular mission to harness television's potential as a transformative educational tool. Launched in 1969, Sesame Street broke ground integrating engaging narratives into a rich educational content, creating a dynamic learning environment for preschool-age children. Set with a backdrop of a fictitious urban street, the show expertly combined live action, puppetry, and animation to introduce foundational concepts like literacy, numbers, emotional intelligence, diversity, and social skills. With iconic characters like Big Bird, Elmo, Cookie Monster, and Oscar the Grouch, they became cultural mainstays, each contributing to the show's colorful tapestry of learning with heart and humor. Central to Sesame Street was its commitment to preparing children for formal schooling, especially those from underserved communities with limited educational resources. Unlike its predecessors, which often emphasized consumerism, the show meticulously crafted a curriculum aimed at measurable educational outcomes. This dedication to authenticity and diversity resonated profoundly with audiences, transitioning socioeconomic barriers by offering the program free of charge. By ensuring equitable access to high-quality educational content, Sesame Street aimed to level the playing field by fostering a lifelong love of learning and exploration. The show's innovative urban setting, inspired by Harlem, set designer Charles Rosen would look at Harlem and the Upper West Side and the Bronx to design the iconic 123 Sesame Street brownstone. This served a dual purpose. It was not only to provide a familiar backdrop in the form of brownstones and cityscapes, but also reflected the everyday experiences of inner-city urban children. This setting, coupled with the racially diverse cast, created an inclusive, relatable environment, a urban neighborhood with elements like trash cans and brownstones akin to those in many of the children's neighborhoods. Chester Pierce, a Black psychiatrist and Harvard professor, played a pivotal role in crafting a hidden curriculum within the program. This curriculum was aimed at promoting self-worth and countering the marginalization of Black children. With an advisory board of prominent Black educators and psychologists, Sesame Street integrated themes of empowerment, diversity into its foundation, setting a new standard for educational programming. By intertwining educational content entertainment with cultural relevancy, Sesame Street not only bridged educational gaps, but it offered a counter-narrative to the pervasive negative portrayals of Black people in the media. It's positioned itself as a resource for children's education dedicated to inclusivity and excellence, thereby opening doors for countless young learners. From its first episode, the show embraced its diverse cast. The pilot featured its first two human characters, Gordon and Susan, both whom were Black, setting the tone for the inclusive world where all people of all backgrounds coexisted and thrived together. This commitment extended well beyond the scenes, with a significant portion of the crew hailing from New York's dynamic Black entertainment scene. The impact of the show was further amplified by its impressive lineup of Black guest stars who enriched Sesame Street's cultural narrative. James Earl Jones was the first Black guest star on Sesame Street, reciting the alphabet on the pilot episode. Other prominent figures such as gospel legend Mahalia Jackson, baseball icon Jackie Robinson, civil rights advocate and politician Shirley Chisholm contributed to the show's inspiring message of self-worth and empowerment, and Nina Simone's poignant performance of To Be Young, Gifted, and Black particularly resonated with Black youngsters. Yet, the show was not without controversy. In 1970, the Mississippi State Commission for Educational Television notoriously banned Sesame Street due to its diverse cast, reflecting racial tensions of the era. Public outcry eventually led to the ban's reversal and highlighted the show's commitment to challenging racial prejudice and promoting diversity. Behind the scenes, the Children's Television Workshop actively sought diverse insight with prominent Black voices in advisory roles to ensure an authentic representation of Black communities. Despite these efforts, though, Sesame Street continued to face some criticism. Later, they would introduce Roosevelt Jackson, a Black puppet who spoke in AAVE, sparking debate within the Black community. Some who saw it as a positive representation of Black culture, and others who felt that he reinforced negative stereotypes. This all led to its eventual removal from the show. The program was also criticized for following educational fads. Notably, Cookie Monster began promoting healthy eating by proclaiming that cookies are sometimes food. Through all of this, Sesame Street remains committed to education and diversity. So as we fast forward to today, Sesame Street is once again at a crossroads. Originally gracing the screen on PBS, the series would transition to HBO in 2015 due to financial constraints, sparking concerns over accessibility for lower-income families who might not be able to access the premium network. This shift underscored the broader social issues of public television funding, which continuously grapples with budget concerns amidst competition from commercial networks. Recently, after 54 seasons, Warner Bros. Discovery decided against renewing its agreement to distribute the show on HBO and its streaming platforms. This aligns to Warner Bros.' strategy of pivoting towards adult programming, leaving the show's future in limbo. While Warner Bros. States that Sesame Street back catalog will remain accessible on Max until 2027, future episodes will require another platform. Although going back to PBS remains an outlet, it's unclear if a return is financially feasible for both PBS and Sesame Workshop. The financial terrain is complex. Producing high-caliber television programming is expensive. Meanwhile, the ad-free models of some streaming platforms limits their potential revenue. Furthermore, Sesame Workshop broad commitment to extending its educational mission through outreach of supporting children of incarcerated and military families and funding international productions adds an additional layer of financial complexity. Through it all, Sesame Workshop remains committed to the show. They state that they're attempting to change the format for its 56th season. Departing from its traditional presentation, the show will now embrace longer street stories coupled with reoccurring animated segments. While these innovations signal that Sesame Workshop is resolved to continue making Sesame Street a new distribution partner is critical if the show is going to continue. Through these transformations, Sesame Street remains a bastion of educational innovation, embracing diversity, and inclusion while reflecting modern societal complexities such as race, class, social justice from an age-appropriate window. Its legacy persists as a testament to the enduring necessity and the impact of quality children's programming has had on all of us. So we need to make sure that this show continues to educate the future leaders of the United States. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy. This has been the Black History of Sesame Street. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. I would like to thank all my Patreon subscribers. Without you, none of this could be possible. I love you all. Peace.